What's going on there, fellow YouTubers? Chris back with you with another moon video. I've actually have another one after this, and you guys are going to find these pretty cool. The last video I did was from NASA's Apollo missions, Apollo 11. This one here, a little bit more unique, and it's something a lot of people don't ever see. It's a lot of photos, well, a handful of photos. I'm going to go over two of them. Back on the Soviet Union, when they had their missions around going to the moon, circling the moon, and then coming back to Earth. So it's something that people don't typically see. So I want you guys to check this out. And this is just one of their missions. This is just a handful. And a couple of these are not even, I wouldn't say valid, because there's a couple of them here that are actually two of them. So I got Zond 2, Zond 2 as well. But you get the idea. You get Sputnik, you got Mir space station, so on and so forth. The one I'm talking about, the spacecraft I'm talking about, is the Zond 6. The Zond 6 was it was a mission in November 14th, 1968, I believe. Yeah, I believe that is. And we're going to jump to it right now. I don't want to make this too long, guys. I know that some of you guys don't want to have super long ones. I don't blame you. But this is the two we're going to be covering right here. There's one, and I'm going to turn it, 90 degrees to the left so we can actually see this better. And then we've got this photo. Now let's check this out. Zond 6 flew around the moon on November 14, 1968. It carried a AFA-BAM camera with a 400mm objective, shooting on 13 by 18 centimeter frames on an ISO panchromatic film. Say that five times fast. A session of 111 frames was performed, at a distance of 9,290 down to 6,843 kilometers, in another session of 58 frames from 2,660 down to 2,430 kilometers. It says a crash landing on Earth flattened and broke open the film canister, but 52 photographs were recovered with some degree of laceration and fogging. Only a few fragments of Zond 6 images have been published, rather. I was going to say were published because I think they had it. I'll show you some other photos in my next video. You'll like this too. It's pretty cool. A mosaic image was constructed from the recovered imagery shown below at the last image, and I believe it's this one here. Poor print quality, not film damage, is the reason for the low quality of the first and third image below. So you got the first and third, but now keep in mind, I believe they're also manipulating their photos as well. It's not just NASA. These guys have been doing this for years, and in one form or another, even though they had this space race and all that, they've been working together for years, guys. They've been working, because you can actually see the same kind of manipulation that they do to their photos. Now, don't get me wrong, a low-res photo will show really crappy, obviously, details. So, yeah, not a whole lot to see. But what we're going to do is we're going to see this one. We're going to check this one out first in Photoshop. And then this one here is basically an up-close of the area I want to show you. And what it is it appears to be structures. Now, I want to show you guys something because I think you'll like this. All right, so I actually marked this off already. What I'm seeing here is, if you look on this side, it appears to be somewhat smooth terrain, not a whole lot. I mean, you can see your all kinds of like craters and pot marks and everything else in there. But it looks like this swath, like this V, if you will, area on the moon. And what I believe this is radar imagery. If you remember, if you go back to one of my videos, I had one of those radar images. It was called Radar Images of the Moon Show Great Details. And what it was is the radar penetrated 33 to 50 feet below the lunar surface. So I believe they're doing this on these. This is the reason why a lot of people, and it's the only conclusion I can come to, guys, was that, people are going, Chris, I don't know, this is crazy. I've got a telescope and I can't see this stuff. Well, first of all, you'd have to have a dynamic, telescope. But the reason why you can't see these is because they are radar images and it's seeing below the surface. That's my take on it. It just seems a little bizarre because I agree. I've got a telescope of my own. I can't see these. Of course, I can't see right on this real close to the lunar surface either. So, with that said, let's zoom in a little bit. Now, what I found was this was crazy because, now this looks a little broken up. Now we're going to go ahead and go into these a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to back up just a hair. Now, check these out, because what I do is I just added some more pixels, brought the picture a little bigger, and check this out. What I'm looking at here is these right here, guys. Whoop, wrong one. My bad. Let's go ahead and change this mode to CMYK. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up just a hair bit more on the brush size. Just go a hair bit. It doesn't have to be super big. And the area I'm looking at is right here. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is just a small part now. Check these out. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for everybody who's got the smaller tablets and so on and so forth. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one I especially like because it looks like it's got like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it has like 5 to 6 of these legs, and this thing does this. And guys, listen. I encourage everybody to get out their magnifying glasses, whether it be a jeweler's eyepiece or a mag glass, anything like that. But try not to zoom in and use these, because the more you zoom in, the more these break apart. See, I was able to add some pixels to this to actually bring it up a little bit. But you can see now what I'll do is I'll do this. Now you guys can have a look at this. Stop the video any way you want. Check it out yourself. Now, just that area alone. And oh my God, guys, just look around. And people will say, well, that's a crater. Well, no. What kind of crater does this? You're not going to see it very good in this one, but right here, this thing's got like a leg. It's like a 90-degree angle. There's actually 2 of them, I think. There's one that comes off like this. You'll see it in the other photo in a second. And check this out. This is another thing I want to make you guys see this too. This is pretty interesting. Well, let's go 3. That's usually a decent size. What I like about this is, check this one out. Comes up like this, goes over here, comes down, goes like this. Okay? Goes like this. Appears to go down. Here's the other side of it. Goes like this, and it appears to just go down like this. Now, what's really funky about this, I'm going to just jump back out of that a second, it's actually off the ground. It appears to be off the ground. Now, what's funnier about it, and I think I don't know how this can be coincidental, but look, whatever the shape of whatever this is basically the same shape as this platform. See, notice how it does this. See the way that thing is? No way, no how is this thing a crater. And if you look, a lot of these are off the ground. You'll see this, especially this one here, like I said. This is the one that does this here. Has this bizarre shape to it. Another one going down. And then you can see very faintly these lightly, well, I should say duller gray. I'm not even doing these straight, but that's okay. You'll get the idea. And then there's something right here on top. Now, what I did was, I darkened this thing up. Well, let me do this first, because this would be better. Check these out. These are neat. Check these out. These are just awesome. Look at the way this one appears to be off the ground right over here. It does this, comes down, and then, of course, it just drops down. Check this one out. Look at the shape of them, too. It's not so much the platform. Look at the way these things are shaped. And I'm going to let you guys, like I said, I'm going to take these lines off here. I'm going to just stay zoomed in. You can pause it. Check this stuff out yourself. But you're going to see there's a lot more of it here. Look at the way these things are funky, man. These things are they're off the ground. That's what's really bizarre. Now, let's do this. You guys can pause it any way you want. I'm now going to drop back a little bit and then have a look. Pause it right here. Now, this one gets even more interesting. These 2 spots here. This I find really interesting. This area right here. What I love about this thing is the way these things have these weird platforms, whether they're circular, different shapes, or whatever. But look at this. One. Look at that. This is what I like about this one more than anything. Check this out. It almost looks like it has an octagon kind of shape here. Not so much here. It's kind of smooth here. Looks like it goes like this. But what's funny about it, you can see what looks like legs or something, but check out all these little pieces in here. But look at this. It looks like a backwards C, if you will, laying on the ground. See it right here? It does this. Now, I don't know what this is from. I don't know if this is something they try to block out or if this is something here. But look at this, perfectly straight across. And they really went to town on this thing because it literally does that. But what's funny about it, look at all this stuff inside this. Check this thing out. Right there. And all of these other pieces, all of these other little things in here. Really bizarre stuff here, guys. Look at this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take these lines off. I'm going to zoom back out just to here. Stop the video any way you want to. Have a look. Check this thing out. This area right here. Check this out. Look at the way these things, look at this. Perfectly straight. Look at this. Almost like this weird D-shaped thing, if you will. This one also, look at that, comes down. And you see how this is all pixelated out right here? What are they trying to hide on that part? But it's, guys, there's no way. There's just no way. And look at the stuff that's inside there. That's what's crazy. Inside of these things, right in here. Look at this. Now, you know, most people say, well, what do you mean structure? I mean, it looks nothing like we have. Well, it doesn't need to be. If it's something alien, we have no idea. No clue. Now, what I did was, I'm going to bring this, I'm going to darken this up, but what I did was I also kind of dulled out the bright areas, if you will, and brought up the dark areas, because I'll show you what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to do is get these things to pop. Now, you guys can, again, see, bring it up a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to these areas here. Again, stop the video anywhere you want to. And here it is right here alone, this whole area. Well, I keep forgetting, I keep messing this up. I just got to change the modes, that's all, no big deal. So when you got this thing, you just look, and you just have a look at this photo right in this whole area. It's crazy. And I believe these are radar images. And when you have a look, I mean, I could just take my mag glass right now and just look at these. Oh my God. What's the chance of them all being lined up kind of thing? I mean, not all of them completely in a sense, but you can see how they're lined up. This one here. I mean, what? I mean, these here, like I said, they're off the ground. You can see that they're really off the ground. Check this one out. It actually has that platform, like I said, and then it has what looks like something rectangular underneath it. And then it kind of does this. So it looks like it's actually standing up off the ground. It's bizarre. You guys can tell me what you think on that. And, of course, you've got, I'm looking right now at this mag glass, and what the hell? There's no way that this thing is, whoops, I messed up again. My bad. But just have a look at it. Just pause it any way you want. And I'm gonna go back to this again, because this way I can point it out. I keep jumping backwards, and I keep getting rid of this mode here, so my bad on that. Right here. Right here. And just have a look. Anyway, guys, let's jump to the next one, because I want you guys to see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let you see this whole thing. I'm going to zoom in for everybody who has the smaller phones and tablets. Check these out. There's those there. Have a look. Pause it. Do whatever you want. These up here. Check them out. And these two areas right here. What? Of course, I just went through the wall on that one. But just have a look. There's no way. And it's just, wow. So let's jump to this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, and guys, I don't even have to do anything to this photo. I'm going to show you what I mean by this right now. Don't have to do a bloody thing to this. Watch this. Click. Watch it. This is great. Because here's the thing about it. You don't have to do a thing on this photo at all. Oh, by the way, here's our Earth. Check this out. Right here. Oh, my bad. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Well, about 200%. Check these out. 1, 2. These are the same ones, only closer. Now check this out. Look at the shape of this thing again. Here. Since when there's a crater off the ground, and look at the funky little appendage or whatever it is, part of this structure, whatever it may be, check that out. Since when does any crater do that? And that's what I'm getting at, guys. This is crazy. All right, let's go back to, and I didn't do anything to this photo. There it is, guys. I mean, it's as simple as that. There it is. Plain as day. Didn't do a thing to it. Okay, but I'm going to show you a little bit better than that right here. I'm going to go to the other Zon 6 photo and check this out. Now it's more up close, and you can see this a whole lot better. Let's go CMYK. Do that. Now, I find this interesting because, like I said, you know, people will argue that point. Well, you don't understand what you're talking about because clearly these are craters. No. Now, because of the low resolution, we don't even know. These might be multiple structures here. Multiple. Or it's just the way they built their structures. They kind of look like a giant mountain of stone on them. But check this out. Look at the way these things are shaped. Especially this one right here. No way, no how is that. Look at them. There's another one right here in between. And look at it. It looks like there's something standing up on this one. You can see this small pad type. I call them pads because that's what they look like. They look like a pad type thing, and something's built right on top of it. And it would make perfect sense. If you're on this rocky terrain, what do? You try to put a platform to make it flat enough to build a structure. So it makes sense to do that. Because if this, now picture this a moment. Let's suppose for a moment this is nothing more than a giant rock that came from space. I think that crater would be a little larger than that. Just a hair bit larger, if not way bigger than that. So you guys can tell me what you think about that as far as that goes, because as far as I'm concerned, let me do this. And you can see where this was like this here, but check out right here. Well, messed it up again, but that's okay. See how I try to lighten up the dark areas and bring down the more brighter areas just to give you a little bit more detail. And there you go. You guys tell me what you think this stuff is. But to me, this is just more proof. And again, it's got nothing to do with NASA. A lot of people don't believe in NASA. They're all a bunch of liars. Well, here you go. This is from the Soviet Union, and they had plenty of these things. And they also had a rover on the moon, when clearly we never did. And it's called a Lunokhod 1, and you can look it up. But that's going to be one of the videos. The next one is going to be about the Lunokhod and how it was on there, and it took a couple panoramic photos. And there's things in there that clearly are not natural. They're just not natural in any way, shape, or form, guys. It's just wild when you see this. I love it. I love to see this stuff, and it's from a different country. Other countries are doing this, but most people don't know that. I wasn't even aware, to be totally honest with you guys. I didn't know they had this many missions, and this is not even all of them. This is not even. I don't even think it's even touching the surface. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think NASA's telling the truth as far as how many missions they've done. Because think about it, how would we know? People go, well, other countries would see this thing take off and lift off into space. Okay. But they can't tell what's inside the craft. They could just say, yeah, we're just testing it out for whatever, to see if this thing will survive in space or whatever. Yeah, it's just a bunch of test equipment in there. How do we know? We're already thinking that they've been to Mars and literally have a base, one on the moon, on the other side of the moon, so on and so forth. Do they? I can't vet it. There's no way for me to vet that. But seeing another country do this, it's just wild. So anyway, guys, give me your take on it. What do you think about these? Again, these go back to kind of low res, but I believe that they are. In fact, radar images. This is the reason why you can see like some of the terrain. It looks nice and smooth somewhat. A couple craters here and there. And then you got this swath of like real good detail and what looks like pads or something standing up off the ground with all these. And like I said, you can't see these very clear. There could be a multiple of structures on there, and because it's not clear and the resolution sucks, to be honest with you. But, what would happen if you blurred it? And I did this a while back in one of my videos, and I had the island of Manhattan. That what I did was I blurred it, and everything, all of these little tiny buildings became blurred together. It looked like one giant structure or one big massive whatever. So the same thing may apply here. Anyway, guys, give me your take on this. Share the video. Give me a thumbs up. Always appreciate it. You guys know that. And I've got another one coming up, like I said, with their rover that they sent to the moon. Most people don't know that. And I'm going to show you some panoramic views of a couple of those in those pictures. And clearly you're just going to go, okay, that doesn't look like a rock in any way, shape, or form. So stay tuned for that. Got that coming up for you. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Always appreciate it. You guys know that. And I'll see you in the next video.